Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this Zoom. I've had a couple of emails from people indicating they're having a hard time getting on the system, so we're just going to go ahead and get started, and I am recording. We'll send out a copy of the recording after the Zoom for everybody to take a look at. So thank you for joining us today. I'm Deborah Cole, and I've had the pleasure of serving with the MAB program for the last 8 years. My background is in student services and education, and I earned my degree from Kansas State University in 2002. Our staff also consists of Mary Bowen, who is our coordinator for communication. She has recently shifted her job duties a little bit and is now in charge of our agricultural economics communication as well as the MAB program marketing. She's been with the program for 14 and a half years. And Dr. Alan Featherstone developed and launched the MAB program and has been its director since inception. So here's where we're going to go today. We'll spend some time covering information about the MAB program, including the courses and skills that you will walk away with after doing the program. We'll also discuss the prerequisite, the application process, transferring coursework, paying for the program, and then I'll also give you some questions to consider as you're thinking about our program or other programs that you might be looking at. If at any time you have questions regarding the content that I'm sharing, please feel free to put a message in the chat feature of Zoom, and I will get to those as I see them come through. So let me tell you a little bit about the MAB program. The MAB was created in 1997 in response to a Board of Regents challenge to help grow and develop talent in food, agriculture, and animal health across the state of Kansas, particularly in our rural communities. Our first cohort, pictured here, launched in 1998 and graduated in the year 2000. Over the last 20 years, more than 500 students have participated in our program. The demand for the program quickly expanded because of the skills that our students gained, and the MAB reach quickly extended nationally across the contiguous US as well as internationally. We were the first distance degree program in the country focused on the business and economics involved in managing production agriculture, food, and animal health companies. We're not an MBA program. We're not your average MBA for sure. And we're not also an MS in agricultural economics. We're a professional degree program aimed at training managers for peak performance in one of the most rapidly changing industries today. Our students come from a variety of backgrounds. Some of them have a scientific background and are learning to figure out their management and business skill set. Others come to us grounded in production agriculture, but need the business background to make a positive impact on their communities or their operations. Still others come to us with a DVM or an advanced degree, but realize that they need to brush up on their business or computer skills to lead their companies well. And then finally, we have several who join us from solid business backgrounds, but they may not be familiar with the supply chains or networks that we operate in our sector, and they want to learn how to do business specifically in our target industries. Our students hail from more than 40 states in the US and all across the globe. In any of our cohorts, you can find individuals who represent a variety of ages and relationships to their companies from all across the globe. So we've had individuals from more than 35 different countries do the program. As we've polled the more than 500 students that have been involved with the program, one of the things we hear from them consistently is that the most important ingredient on the academic side of the equation for them is that they're able to network with the other students in the program, and that those students all be vertically integrated within their companies. And again, that international perspective has been a really big factor for our students. As an overview, the MAB program is a 2.5-year program consisting of 42 graduate credit hours. We're a thesis-bearing program, so there are 2 on-campus sessions involved with the program, and you will be writing a thesis. All of our students are working full-time in production or industry, and our program is delivered executive style. So our faculty have really perfected the use of internet delivery of classes over the last 20 years, but we also provide tools to help you be successful. All of your course material will be supplied through our learning management system, which currently is Canvas, but we'll also give you a USB or a jump drive for you to use if you need it. We provide pre-recorded lectures and podcasts, and once a week, each of our courses have a live recitation session associated with it. The faculty use this time to provide new material, to work through homework problems, address any difficulties that have arisen within the content. And all of these recitation sessions are recorded. So if you're traveling during a recitation session, you can access that time at your convenience whenever it works for you. Finally, we know that our on-campus sessions set us apart from many of the typical off-the-shelf distance MBAs. So I want to talk about those a little bit. Our program features 2 different cohorts. The Heritage cohort meets in Manhattan, Kansas in January and March each year, and the Animal Health cohort meets in August and October at our K-State Olathe campus. So you would be on campus either for the Heritage program or the Animal Health program. During those on-campus sessions, we provide an orientation to the MAB and to graduate studies at K-State. You'll meet the cohort of students with whom you'll go through the entire program, and you'll also be introduced to the learning management system. So we'll walk you through using the LMS. We're not just going to turn you loose and expect you to figure it out on your own. You'll also really develop some tight relationships with those folks that are around you. You'll kick off your coursework, and you'll meet the faculty that you'll be working with throughout the program. We have a number of different faculty that you will interact with and who will be teaching your courses. That's pretty crucial to us. We know that there's a lot of programs out there where you have 1 or 2 faculty members, and that's pretty much all you see. We really want you to be exposed to the wide variety of teaching styles, the expertise, and the personal networks that each of our faculty members have. You will have the opportunity to hear from leaders in food and agriculture and animal health, including some of the alumni of our program. And most importantly, and I truly mean this, you will meet and break bread with a cohort of students with whom you'll journey through our entire program. Our students and alumni tell us that the network of professionals benefits their career long after they finish their coursework. And this is what truly sets us head and shoulders above other programs, is the opportunity to truly meet and network with a group of students and alumni who really view the world in different ways, but come together for a common purpose. So how does the MAB work? Here's the schedule for our Heritage program, the one that meets in January and March. And you can see that there are some on-campus sessions, and I'm going to annotate this. Just a second. This is the on-campus session for the January cohort, and then here's the one for April as well, or sorry, March. So you would be on campus for a few days during January and March each year. That a range of time, historically, we would have students come in on Sunday, and then they would leave Friday morning, maybe midway through the morning. Depending on how quickly folks adapt to the learning management system and how many people are in your cohort, we've been able to adjust the time frame for you to be on campus to run pretty much from Sunday until Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So we've really kind of tried to make better use of student time while they're there, and have understood from a lot of our students that they're under pressure from their companies to be present physically back in their companies a little bit more quickly. So we've accommodated that, and we're not trying to rush you through material. We're trying to make the best use of your time. So we figured out some ways to do that. After you get done with the session in March, you take classes 1 at a time throughout the rest of the calendar year. And then you can see the pattern repeats in year 2. There's 2 campus sessions, and then you have coursework throughout the rest of the year. In what essentially is year 2.5, you will be working on your thesis, and that's indicated right here. Most of our students end up graduating in May of year 2.5, so it's really pretty much 2 years and 6 months is what you end up spending working through the program. Some of the courses that you would take in the first year of the Heritage program include logistics and supply chain management, finance, managerial econ, our optimization and risk management classes. Very popular there. For the animal health cohort, the coursework is pretty similar, but you'll see the on-campus session takes place here in August, and then again in October. Those sessions do also run on kind of a shortened schedule for the week. Then you'll have coursework by distance only through the remainder of the year. Return again year 2 in August and October for the on-campus sessions. And then you have some additional coursework throughout the rest of the year. And then again, in the fall, this usually starts about August, you're working on your thesis and getting wrapped up to graduate in December. So coursework in year 2 for both the heritage and the animal health cohort would include our econometrics class, personal and team management, marketing, international trade and policy, and a strategy course. So in addition to taking that deep dive into some statistical tools that will help you analyze your business better, you're going to be able to apply it with strategy on the global front, and also managing your teams better. So that's kind of the focus of year 2 for both cohorts. So I mentioned that we are a thesis-bearing program, which does provide you a more comprehensive opportunity to apply the skills that you've learned in the program and really to address some real concerns that your company may have to make an impact in your firm or organization. Your thesis could also be a business plan to set the launch of your own company, or it could be a financial analysis of an acquisition that your company is looking to make. Could just be tweaking a logistic or supply chain model for your company. In fact, we've had a recent thesis that did that and ended up saving their company over $100,000 a month just based on some supply chain tweaks and some backhauling. So we know that these thesis projects can have an immediate and direct impact on the place that you work. We do have a track record of working really well with companies to maintain confidentiality in company data. So if that's something that you're concerned about, please know that we are as well. Our faculty operate well within NDA agreements, as do the rest of our program staff. So this will allow your research that you're going to do through the MAB program, again, to make an immediate impact on your company because you're able to use real data. It's not a case study driven program. There are a few case studies smattered throughout the courses, but we really want you to be able to make yourself more valuable to the specific company to which you're employed or to whatever company it is that you're looking to go to in the future. So we've tried to design a program that will really allow you to truly exhibit those skills. So let's talk a little bit and shift gears to what the admission requirements are for the program. We do require a bachelor's degree, that is a 4-year degree or its equivalent. Our students are all working full-time in industry somewhere, so we ask that you come to us with 2 years of professional work experience. And then some computer literacy. One of the very first classes you'll take out of the bat at the MAB is going to be a computer tools and agribusiness course, which will help you analyze and figure out kind of how we're doing the reporting within the programs that we're using. So that you're set for success for the rest of the program, but you do need to be able to operate in a computer environment. And then we do require undergraduate coursework in accounting, statistics, macro, micro, or agricultural economics. Can be any of those 3 courses. Basic accounting, basic statistics, and a basic macro, micro, or ag econ course. I think that if you have questions about that, if you know you have an undergraduate program of study that maybe did not include those courses, please reach out and let's talk through some of the things that you did do or what you're doing in your world of work right now to see about maybe waiving some of those prerequisites, or we can also help you locate a prerequisite course that you can take either by distance or from a junior college or community college where you live, so that we can make sure that you get what you need there. You may have noticed that there is no GRE or GMAT requirement for our program. It's kind of become all the rage this semester for programs to be waiving those requirements, which is a good thing in our opinion. But we know and have known for many years that these standardized tests are not going to be a good indicator of how you will do in a graduate program once you've been out of the classroom for 2 or more years. And as all of our students come to us with that 2-year professional experience, we've worked really hard to minimize the hoops that you have to jump through to do our program at every stage. And this has been one we've never required the GRE or the GMAT. So one of my favorite tools that we have and that our applicants use is our program booklet. If you haven't received a paper copy in the mail, you can fill out a request for a copy simply by going to our website. On the left-hand side of the screen, there is a booklet request form. Just fill that out and I will get one in the mail to you within 24 hours of receiving that request. One of the best parts of the booklet, my favorite parts, is at the very back, there's this little checklist that has all of the material that you will need to make application to the MAB program. So some highlights of that list include 3 letters of reference, a letter of support from your supervisor, statements of objectives, and your resume. If your supervisor compiles the letter of support correctly, it can also count as one of your letters of reference. If you're self-employed, I get that question a lot. You don't need a letter of support from your supervisor. You just need to address the fact that you're self-employed in your statements of objectives, just so that we know to go ahead and waive that requirement. And I also want to mention a question I've had a lot this fall is just what exactly does your letter of support from your supervisor need to contain? We don't need to have any assurance about financial or tuition reimbursement. That's not really our area. But what we would like to see is that they can highlight that you would be a good candidate for our program and that they are supportive of the fact that you may need to come to campus 2 times each year while you're doing the program. So there's that. I also have a number of sample statements of objectives, sample letters of reference that we've kind of compiled over the years, so you can take a look at those. Just let me know if you'd like to see some of those, and we'd be happy to send a few out to you so you can kind of see what the breadth is on what that scope looks like for those. Okay, let's talk about paying for the program. About 62% of our students receive some kind of tuition reimbursement or assistance from their employers. Not very many of them receive full tuition reimbursement for the program. So pretty much everybody is operating, kind of within the same constraints. Many of our students choose to leverage state and federal financial assistance programs to kind of cash flow the program while they're either waiting for tuition reimbursement from their employers or just because that is the investment that they're choosing to make. So those are definitely ways people choose to pay for the program. Also, we have a number of scholarships that are out there on the website that you're more than welcome to apply for. Our students have had great success in applying for and winning scholarships. So that's something that we would really encourage you to consider. I want to be very upfront and transparent about what the cost of our program is. We've done a lot of investigating into how other programs are running right now, and it's really difficult to figure out how much you're going to be paying for a program if you don't know what questions to ask. So let me just tell you, the cost for our program is $32,000, $32,175, and that will include 12 of the courses in the program. That's 39 credit hours. All of our distance education software, all of the textbooks and course notes that you will need to complete the program. We will not ask you to buy any additional materials or software products or anything like that. We will provide all of those to you. And then that also covers the time with the faculty members to work on your thesis, kind of consulting time. So that's also built into the tuition that we are billing. What is not included in that tuition would be obviously your housing and travel to attend campus sessions, if we're able to have them, and then the elective course. So students need to choose one 3-hour graduate credit course, 3-credit course at the graduate level to complete their elective. We have a few that we offer and that we can share with you, but a lot of times what students will do is figure out what they're going to do their thesis on, and then find a graduate level course that may speak into that thesis journey. So if you know you're going to be doing your thesis on some kind of analysis of the nutrition formulations and the costs associated with different formulations of a feed ingredient or something like that, then we would encourage you maybe to pick up another course in nutrition or feed tech or something that would speak into where you need to be on the cutting edge for that topic. We've had folks look at alternative energy classes. I'm trying to think, we've had folks pick up additional statistical analysis classes. It kind of just runs the gamut on what people choose to do there. But we will help you find a course. As far as if you see something that you like, I'll definitely help you evaluate it and make sure that it will count as your elective. And again, as I mentioned, we do have a few courses that we offer as well from the elective perspective, and they're really good. So that's always an option for you as well. We don't bill that into the cost of the program because depending on where you take your elective course, your tuition costs can be greatly higher or a little bit lower than we do at K-State. So we want to make sure that we are not leading you astray by saying it's going to be X dollars when we don't have control over other people's tuition. So those are the only 2 things not included in our tuition assessment. The payment schedule is done in 3 annual installments. You can see here that year 1 is $12,375. Year 2 is $13,800, and then year 3 is just $6,000. And those are usually billed January of each year that you're in the program, if you're doing the Heritage cohort, or August if you're doing the Animal Health cohort. Having said that, if you are choosing to leverage federal financial aid or a GI Bill or some of those additional funding sources, we will bill you on semester as we are required to do by law. So I will work with you to figure out what each semester's assessment is going to be, and we will walk through the FAFSA process together, and we'll keep you kind of abreast of what you will need to know for credit hours each semester and things like that. Just one of the many services that we offer at the MAB. We get that you are going to school full-time, well, part-time, while working full-time, and you likely have other responsibilities that you're trying to manage. So we try to make our portion as easy as it can possibly be for you. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Let me check the chat box real quick. So let me give you some questions that I would encourage you to ask as you're either considering our program or any of the other programs you might be looking at. I would definitely make sure that you ask the program staff what the track record of success is. When students graduate, where do they go professionally? What kind of careers are they looking at? What is the time commitment that you will be needing to spend? Is it seasonal? Is it different at one part of the year than another part? And then do some real good analysis about if that's going to fit for your life. You want to definitely ask in what formats are the course materials available. And I did not realize how varied different programs operated. I think the way that we provide materials is exceptionally accessible for our students, and it follows a logical sequence. We've seen some other programs out there where students are just only able to access the material through the learning management system. So if you're traveling and you don't have a good internet connection, it's real difficult to get the material, which we'll find ways around that for you. We've already developed a really good platform for you to work with. So definitely ask questions about that part. Are you going to be looking at ebooks? If you are required to purchase your own materials and your own books for courses, how do those books come? And are you going to be comfortable doing all of your work on an e-reader, or what's your plan going to be there? So definitely ask those questions. We would also really encourage you to request to be able to talk to someone who's in the program or an alumni who has graduated from the program. This is something that there are definitely federal laws and regulations that restrict giving out student information. But if you have permission, there should be a way for your program staff and any program that you're involved in to get you connected with current students to talk about what their experiences are. And we would really encourage you to ask other students. Also, definitely try to get connected with someone who is an alumni of whatever programs you're looking for. It's a great opportunity to network, but also you can get some really good perspective and some of those what I wish I would have known out of the way. And then finally, what about tuition reimbursement? If you need specific documentation for your company, make sure that the program staff with the programs that you're looking at can help you with that. And they're not just going to turn you loose and tell you to go find what you need. It can be very difficult to navigate some institutions' financial documents, and there are different systems. So definitely find out what their familiarity is with working with tuition reimbursement plans. I see that we do have a question, so I'm going to access that. So the question is, with our MAB program, is there possibility for a full-time on-campus program? So the Master of Agribusiness is a distance-only program, well, hybrid, because you have the 2 weeks on campus. But if you're looking for a full residential program, I will be more than happy to get you connected with our on-campus program staff. That'd be Dr. Dustin Pendle and Ms. Judy Mayberry, and I'll get you connected with them. I'll send you an email after we're done with the webinar and get you connected for sure. So what your next steps might be, the first thing that I'm going to suggest is consider those questions. The second thing I'm going to suggest is consider scheduling an advising program with me. There's a link out on our website. You can see it here. I'm going to annotate again. Here's the link to schedule an advising appointment. That will pull up my own personal calendar of advising, and you can choose a time that works best for you. I'll get an email indicating that you want a time. And we can sit down and talk through your specific situation and how the MAB might be a great fit for you. I'm not going to pass you off to someone else within the program unless you would like to speak with our program director. I work with students from the time that they have expressed interest in the program through the time that they've graduated, and then for many years afterwards as alumni. So we're not going to give you to an admissions counselor or a recruiter. You and I can visit directly about what our program does and how we operate. The next step that we would encourage you to take would be to follow us on our social media channels. We have a very active MAB community on Facebook. Our alumni and students engage pretty regularly with us. We've hosted a lot of alumni Zoom meetings this year for students who've graduated in the past or who are currently in cohorts. It's been a lot of fun to reconnect with folks, especially in the virtual environment that we're sitting in. So please feel free to follow us on any of our social networks. We'd be happy to get you information that way if that is your preference as well. And then we do have a couple of additional upcoming webinars. Our webinars are always free, so please feel free to jump in and register for any of them you want to attend. The next upcoming webinar that we have scheduled will be September 22nd. It's also a Tuesday at 12 o'clock in Central Time. Dr. Vincent Amanor Boadu, one of our faculty members who teaches in the program and a great friend of the MAB, will be presenting along with our program director, Dr. Alan Featherstone, on risk and resiliency in agribusiness, specifically in light of some of the challenging times that we're in right now. They're also doing a it's a day-long workshop series later on in October at our K-State Olathe campus. If you're interested in more information about that, let me know. But they'll be coming in for a guest presentation within the MAB to kind of preview that and give some basic skill sets and takeaways within that topic area. And then we'll also have another informational webinar very similar to this one on October 13th. So if you have a colleague or a professional friend in your network who you think might benefit from the MAB or with whom you think it might be really fun to take classes, feel free to invite them and let them know that they can come learn more about the program. I'd be happy to set up an advising time for them as well. But that is the next opportunity for a formal webinar with information about the program. Finally, if you know that our Master of Agribusiness program is going to be a good fit for you, please feel free to go ahead and start your application. We are working through a digital application process, and that information about that can be found here. So go ahead and click on that link, and that will get you started. If you do go ahead and sign up to complete an advising appointment with me, and just so I can get some more basic information, when you do submit your application, we will provide you with an admission code that will waive the application fee within our system. So that would be my next step, would be to go ahead and set up an advising appointment. Let's walk through the program, how it's going to meet your needs and where you want to go. And then we can work through the other steps as well. Any other questions?
Hi, Deborah. This is Taylor. I had a quick question on what percentage of the cohorts in the past are doing the dual MBA and then the MAB. Is that very common? Are those both distance learning options? And is the format for the MAB pretty close to what you described as far as the 2.5 year, the different sessions? Do those coincide, like you're on time? The time spent at K-State, is it going to overlap with the MBA portion of your degree, or will it basically be double the amount of time spent in person?
Yeah, so we have, our first 4 students should graduate with the dual degree program this fall. All 4 of them began in the MAB set of the program and then added the MBA, the PMBA section at about halfway through their program. And that is what I would really encourage you to do or to consider. We have seen that a lot of the coursework from the MAB classes really pulls them in, and then they're able to apply the more theoretical pieces from the MBA program into what they're doing in both programs. We do have quite a bit of interest in the dual program. I would say about maybe a quarter of our MAB cohort right now is pursuing the dual degree program. I'm thinking about the cohort that just started in January. And for the spring of this upcoming year, the one that will start in January, we're on pace to be about that same amount of students. So the beautiful thing about the dual program is that you do earn the 2 degrees. It's about half of the MBA coursework that you would complete that gets substituted with the MAB courses. You still walk out with a thesis. So if you ever wanted to go back and do a PhD program, you'd have that MS, what is considered the thesis. The thesis stands as it would for an MS degree for most PhD programs that we've worked with. So it would enable you to go ahead and do that part. And then you do have the dual marketability of the dual degree program. So definitely a possibility. It will increase your tuition. Obviously, you'll pay for all the PMBA courses that you take. But as far as how you would sequence courses and where you would begin in that process, that's definitely a one-on-one advising conversation that you and I would need to have to figure out kind of what the prerequisites are that you come in with, what some of your admission criteria would be, and then we can formulate an individual education plan essentially for you on what the best sequence of courses would be. I'll also encourage you to get connected in that conversation with the program director for the PMBA program. They do waive their orientation session for our students, so you wouldn't be making any additional trips to campus. It would just be the ones you would do the MAB program. But with all of our students who are pursuing the MBA program as well, I do encourage them to set up some time to meet with Susie while they're on campus so that they can get that connection as well.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. It's a great opportunity. Any other questions? Oh, I have a question in the chat box asking about working with the Grain Science and Industry Department. We sure do. In fact, I will be at Pet Food Forum the remainder of this week with our Grain Science faculty, our IGB faculty as well. Any additional questions? If not, thank you so much for joining me today. I really would encourage you to sign up for the webinar on the 22nd. Both Dr. V and Dr. Featherstone are experts in their field, working with students consistently within the MAB program and externally as well. So should be some really good material. Would look forward to visiting with you about your MAB future and how to be MAB. And thank you again for joining us today.